Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, Andy here.
I'm Mimi.
That's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, we get a bunch of emails from people all the time, like spam, I guess you'd call it, like marketing to us. Sometimes it's people that will say in the email, I'm here to help, or I can get you more coaching clients, Andy, or I can make your business better, or I can take your YouTube channel from this many thousands to this many thousands. And there was one this morning that kind of inspired today's podcast because we get a lot of these fucking spam. You're the one
Yeah.
that
And to be
checks
clear,
them.
I'm the one that checks the emails. You're just checking them a little bit at the moment. And I see this a lot, and you probably don't actually. It's interesting
I
because
probably have no idea how many of
you
these there are.
don't see them that often because you're not in the emails. And we were talking about it this morning, and this one seems to have like affected you a little bit. But it's funny because I say these all the time, and I think it's not something that I really think or care about much anymore.
Yeah, and that's a good word, affected. It made me think a lot. So I give short context and not to, I don't want to shit on the guy that sent this, but we do get these emails from time to time where someone will essentially lie or maybe stretch the truth a bit and they'll say, hey, Andy, big fan, watched all of your videos, love your content. Hey, man, I really want to give back. This guy's email literally said like reciprocity. Like, I want to reciprocate to you, Andy. I want to give you something. And normally we just ignore those emails because like it's always a bunch of shit. But because he said that, and because his email specifically said, I want to help you, I want to give you something, I was like, well, that's nice. We normally spend all of our time giving to all of you. It's kind of what we do. It's like give, 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 give. Maybe I'll keep an open mind and we'll see what this email is. Maybe this guy's genuinely trying to help. Isn't that sweet? And even if he can't help, which 99.99999% of the emails don't really help at all in any way, but I'll keep an open mind and we'll read it. And he had recorded a Loom, which is just a video, like a 3-minute video. And I was like, okay, let's check this out. I watched the video and I just lost 3 minutes of my life. I guess I would say the gain is that we get to do this video today. And so I can talk about, giving value and maybe inspire some of you, like a lot of you who might be wanting to start a business or in your dating life. Hopefully today's video inspires you to go and give some value instead of putting out spam and trash and just screaming noise into the void like most people are doing, especially when it comes to like marketing, which is what this guy did. It was like all marketing and no actual good product, nothing helpful. And so, like I said, I watched the 3 minutes and it was literally just a marketing pitch for me to give him something, to give him money, but there was nothing tangible in there. And I want to kind of play a little exercise with some of you. Imagine if you came to my YouTube channel or my Spotify podcast or our blog, and every single video was just like clickbait. And yeah, we use like sexy thumbnails sometimes. I try not to ever really use clickbait. We'll never really lie in a thumbnail or any of that. But imagine if it was all clickbait and you see the exciting thumbnails, you click on it, you get all excited, you click on it. And then you watch the video, and maybe it's like a 10-minute video, half an hour video. You get to the end and you're like, I don't think my life improved in any way. I don't think I learned anything. I don't think there's any actionable advice that I can now go and take. I don't really even think he inspired me. He didn't tell me that he believes in me. There was no reassurance. There was no like, you're going to be okay. There was no like, here's the step-by-step process. It was just marketing fluff. And at the end of it, imagine if I just said, now pay me for coaching and you'll get all the secrets. In other words, a bunch of fluff with no substance. Like, would you keep watching? Would you even be here? Would your life improve in any meaningful way? Or would you just feel like, now I'm all excited to pay this guy money, but like I have no tangible proof that he can actually help me because he hasn't. He hasn't done anything. Would I just be then contributing to more noise into the void? And so, yeah, feel free to jump in. I know I just went on a big rant there, but like a lot of this stuff, or a lot of the way that people see dating and definitely business is just how can I get mine rather than how can I give value? How can I give to other people? How can I leave people better than I found them? What can I possibly contribute to them instead of just trying to take from them?
Yeah. And I think maybe just speak from personal experience, but I think this has been an interesting journey for me, like starting this or being a part of this business with you, and this being the way that we make money so we can pay the bills.
Hmm.
Because at times, the nature of maybe starting a business is that it doesn't have the same predictability of having a job, getting a salary, getting
Yeah.
a wage. And I think for me at times, someone who values security a lot, that's been very scary.
And stressful for you, yeah.
Yes. And like that's I think been a big, in a way, a big driving force for me.
Hmm.
And so I've kind of had to balance because I very much understand your philosophy of wanting to give and help people, but at the same time feeling like I get scared sometimes and feel like I don't have enough and I do want to take because I think the natural response to fear is to want to kind of hold on tightly
Yeah.
to get what you can to make sure you're okay. And sometimes that can come at the cost of giving to others. And so it's interesting because I'm in the background as well. So I'm not necessarily the one that's front facing and coaching and being the one that's more actively giving. And I know that's to some extent something that you've kind of had to work on as well. Because I know you really want to help people, but at the same time, like, yes, we do need to ask for money at some point so we can eat and pay the rent and keep the lights on.
Yeah.
And I understand that maybe to have a bit of empathy, like the people that are wanting to take and to get from people, like often I think a lot of those people are in the same position that I'm in, like when I'm scared and I want to make sure I have enough. And so I want to hold on more tightly to the things that I have and try and take. And at the same time, there is that, it's a bit of a battle because part of me wants to be generous and wants to give and wants to trust
But
and
then
to
you
be more
think
peaceful.
you lose something if you give. That's how most people think about giving. Is
Sure.
like, I would lose something or I wouldn't get something.
And I think like when you look at it like from at a very, very base level of like, if I give someone $100, that $100 is no longer mine.
I've lost $100, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously then there's, you know, things that don't cost money that have value and there's, you know, goes around, comes around, like all of that sort of stuff. And it's certainly a lot more grey than that. But when you kind of are in that fearful place or in that mindset of like, I don't have enough, it can be easy to fixate on that
On just getting.
specifically, which is, you know, again, like something that I'm still working on.
Yeah, so for a lot of you listening, you might have no interest in business, at least at this point in time, but you're going through dating with this same like fear-based mindset where you're like, I might never get laid. It might be too late for me. What if I can't find a partner? And you're just thinking like, how do I get laid? How do I get pussy? How do I get a girlfriend? I got to lock her in. Lots of women are thinking the same thing. Like, how do I lock a man down? How do I get that man I need to get? And giving is the last thing on your mind because like you said, there's all this fear going on. There's like, what if I can't do it? You're not even thinking of like, how can I give the other person a good experience? But what happens then is you meet a bunch of people and all you're doing is trying to get from them or lock them down or just quickly secure the pussy or secure the boyfriend or whatever. Anyone who has a lot to give, like a lot of value or a lot of self-esteem, anyone who's a little bit, I don't know, a better partner, why would they spend time with you? They're going to go and find the person who's giving because they're a generous giving person or they have a lot to offer. So they're going to go and find the other person who has a lot to offer. And the same thing in business. If all you're focusing on is getting, and you're like, I just want to get, I got to use my marketing, I got to use my sales techniques. And the reason why people use marketing and sales and clickbait and stuff like that is because the product sucks. You know, it was Alex Hormozy who said, the only reason that you use sales is because your marketing sucks. And the only reason you would use marketing is because your product sucks. In other words, if you just have a good product, people will come and give you money. People will appreciate it. It might take a little while. You know, marketing helps speed that up. So we're not saying that sales and marketing are bad. Although I sort of have a personal vendetta against sales, as you know.
I know, but like if you have a great product or service in a void, that doesn't really mean shit because nobody knows about it.
Yeah, and so the same thing with dating. So here's the mission is in dating, improve yourself and then go talk to lots of women. And you don't have to use any gimmicks on them. You don't have to use pickup lines. You don't have to lie or manipulate or hold back or not be vulnerable. You walk up and be completely upfront and honest and say, hey, here's me. Here's what I'm looking for. Do you want the same thing? If they say yes, or if they say no, you don't care. You go and talk to the next person. The same thing in business. You have a really good product and then you offer it to people. You were talking before about like that balance between giving and giving and giving. You know, we try and give a hell of a lot. Maybe at times, I won't say I give too much.
Yeah, I think over the years, sorry, you keep going.
I could improve at asking. There you go. That's the way I would say it. And so that's something I'm still improving at. But I like Alex Hormozy and his mindset. He's an entrepreneur and he says, give, and then offer or ask or say like, hey, here's my book, or in my case, here's my coaching. And so you give as much as you can, and then you stick a little coaching pitch at the end of the videos, like what we do. Or maybe you have a book or something and you say, hey, if you want to grab my book or you want to grab my Play to Win video course. But I like that balance of like giving. The idea there is give more than you ask.
Yeah.
Or at least equal. I think equals a pretty decent starting place. Or if some of you listening are like, holy shit, my entire life, all I've focused on is getting. I don't even know how to begin giving, like whether it's dating, whether it's business. You're just like, how would I give? But what if they think I'm weird if I give them a compliment? I don't even know how to praise someone or make them feel good about themselves. What if it's awkward? You can just start with the tiniest little baby steps. Like tell someone that you appreciate them showing up to a date, or do a YouTube video where you offer some value to someone, or offer people and say, hey, is there anything I can do to make your life a bit better? Reach out to all of your friends or one of your friends and say, hey, bro, I really appreciate you. I'm grateful you're my friend. That's giving them something. So you start with little baby steps. And you and I were not super giving at the start. Like this took practice.
Yeah. And I think maybe coming back to what you were saying before about how when you do, like it, the way that you behave and how generous you are, how much you give, it affects kind of the people around you and the interactions that you do have.
100%.
As you were talking about all of that, I was thinking of a lot of examples in my own life, because I think over the years, the cumulative stress that I've built up from being self-employed, I'm very aware of my mindset and my beliefs that have kind of changed and evolved around money. And I've noticed that when people are very generous with me, which they are, I've got a lot of generous people in my life.
As in financially generous or just in general?
In general, but even financially, like I'd say my family is very financially giving, which
They are, yeah.
funnily enough has meant that the entire family has almost this culture of like, I'm not allowed to accept things. Like you're meant to be very generous. You're always meant to offer to pay for lunch, but then everyone needs to be like, no, don't do that.
That just sounds like stress to me. That's not generosity. Generosity is stress-free, or a lot of the time, yeah.
But as I've been working on all of this stuff, I've realized like there is a skill, or there is a gift in being very accepting. So
receiving people's gifts, yeah.
yeah. For example, I had a friend and she wanted a hand with an art project, and she doesn't paint at all and I paint a lot. And it turned into a day of my friend talks to me while I
you did the
do
work.
an art
Yeah.
project.
You did her work.
Day.
Yeah.
It was like an 8-hour day and I had a flight to catch that evening. And so the whole thing, I was like, I need to get it done because I'm leaving and we want to finish this. And I don't think you can finish this because it was more complex than we thought it was going to be. And the whole time, she was so generous and so grateful. And funnily enough, when I flew back to the city where I grew up to see her again, she was very insistent that she took me out to dinner at Nobu, which is a very expensive restaurant. And because of my thing around money, I felt a lot of guilt come up and I felt stress and tension around that. But I was observing that and I made a very conscious effort of not trying to fight it too much, and rather just express a lot of gratitude and a lot of thanks, because there's a world in which, and I think maybe most people have had an experience like this, is that you're trying to give to somebody and the whole time, rather than them just saying like, thank you, I appreciate that, they're like, oh no, I feel bad.
Oh
no,
no,
you shouldn't
can't
do that
for me. Oh no.
And like at no point do they actually say thank you. And then as the person giving, you're like, well, I didn't actually enjoy that experience as the person trying to give to you. And then they don't want to give to you anymore because you're carrying around all this guilt and shame and stress around money. And so I think, it's the same thing of like when you're tight, you have an issue receiving as well. Not only do you have an issue giving, you have an issue receiving, which then blocks you receiving more money. And, it can come a bit of a cyclical sort of thing.
Yeah. To really underline what Emmy just said there, if you don't practice a lot of giving, like I find it way easier to receive money, kindness, compliments, like basically everything compared to you. Why? Because I sit here every fucking day just doing everything I can to give. I sit down with homeless people and give to them. I give them money. I pay for people's groceries if I can see that they can't afford to pay for it or their credit card is declined or something. I'm just constantly waking up every day going, how can I give? How can I give? How can I give? I'm literally going today on a train for like 3 hours for my friend because he said I'm going through a lot of stress. That's why I'm going to meet him today, by the way. He's like stressed out of his mind. I'm constantly giving, and lots of people give. I'm not saying that I give any more than anyone else, but because I wake up every day and say, how can I serve today? How can I help all of you with the audience? I did those live streams for 30 whatever days, several hours a day, literally just giving. I got stuff out of that. I'm grateful for that, but like, didn't get much money out of that. Like, didn't really get much money at all. Like maybe $600. Anyway, point is, because I'm constantly thinking about giving, it's way easier for me to receive. We've had people donate. Remember that guy that donated like thousands of dollars just out of nowhere? He's just like, hey,
Past client.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can see that you guys are stressed. You guys have done videos where you talk about your money stress. You've helped me, Andy, so much. I'd like to give you some money. And I felt no guilt there. I was just like, thank you, bro. I really appreciate that. I've had clients in the past that have paid extra. Like Ed is one of them, who's now a coach in the program. There's another guy, I won't say his name, but one of my old coaching clients as well. In the early days, we were really struggling, and he donated money. I remember Good Looking Loser wrote an article one time where he said, someone just sent me $1,000 out of nowhere for no reason and just said, thanks everything, Chris. Like, I appreciate you. That only comes when you give, and it's way easier to receive. And a lot of you in dating, and one of my coaching clients in the group right now is like this. He's going through this. A lot of you in dating feel like you're not worthy enough, especially if you see, like any of you men that see a really attractive woman and you're like, she's too good for me. I don't have enough to offer her. Why would she be with me? Or sometimes you'll be like, this girl made it too easy to sleep with her. Like, why did she make it too easy for me? Like, it should have been a struggle. It shouldn't have, like, it's like you're struggling to receive. You're not good at receiving. Why? Because you don't believe deep down that you have a lot to offer. In other words, you haven't been giving as much as you could. You haven't been generous. You haven't been giving out praise and compliments and trying to make people's lives better. You haven't been going into dating thinking, how can I make this girl's day a little bit brighter? When you walk up to a woman to hit on her, all you're thinking is, and it's okay to think all of this. This is how I used to think. But you're walking up to a woman thinking, I hope she doesn't reject me. I hope I get her phone number. I hope I get laid. I hope she's nice to me. I hope I get something from her. You're not really thinking, hey, I might go and try and make her smile. Or how can I make both of us smile? How can I go and give her a compliment, make her feel good about herself? And if she has a boyfriend, I'll say, hey, I hope you and your boyfriend have a beautiful life together. You know, he's a lucky guy, and, you know, I wish you both all the best. Like, you're not thinking, how can I make these people's lives better or these women's lives better? If you do start thinking like that, if you do start improving the lives of the people that you date or sleep with or get into relationships with or get into business with or clients or whatever, when you start thinking along those lines, then when people are nice to you, you're like, yeah, of course they'd be nice to me because I'm nice to them. Like, why wouldn't they be? The world is one of reciprocation. I'm nice to someone. A lot of those people are nice back to me. Some people aren't. That's fine. You just don't spend time with those people. You look for the people that reciprocate back, or at least have gratitude for your gifts. You know, I would never have a coaching client who wasn't grateful for, you know, everything that we've offered. And I wouldn't want to be someone's coach if I couldn't be grateful to them for the money that they've given us, for them paying the bills and keeping the lights on and all of that. And so you start to craft this life for yourself where the only people that you interact with are people that have a giving mindset, or at least a gratitude mindset, and they believe in reciprocity. And anyone who's trying to get, like, you know, the guy that emailed us today, and nothing against him, he's like one of hundreds of people that email like that. But those people who are just like, how can I use clickbait titles? How can I like use marketing fluff and just try and get Andy on board without offering him jack shit? Like, I haven't offered anything. People like that, it's like, well, your email's getting blocked. Like, we're never going to hear from you ever again. We're never going to talk to you ever again. Like, why would we? And so you don't have to go around giving a ton, but just these tiny little baby steps of like, how can I make someone smile? Or how can I be there for my friend and show them a bit more gratitude? How can I give something to my clients or to the audience or something before I ask anything of them? Like, look at all the free content that we've put out. I don't have to toot my own horn. There's a lot of free shit out. There's like 1,800 pieces of free content. Like, that's a lot of giving. And then when I say to all of you, would you like to pay for the coaching? Would you like to be a coaching client? It's like, oh yeah, this guy like literally changed my life for free. Yeah, fuck it. I'll pay him. Why not?
Yeah, and I think I like something you said, like you don't have to give a ton. Maybe
Yeah.
building upon that, or building upon that idea, I would say that you don't have to give. This is like a little caveat of it. You don't have to give what you don't want to give.
Yes.
I think amongst all of this, there's also been the
Can I interrupt for half a second?
yeah.
We will never fucking say for you to sacrifice. This is not about sacrificing or giving something that you don't want to give. That's why we say take baby steps, tiny baby steps with giving. What were you saying?
That I think a big learning lesson for you along the way, Andy, is that or it's been something that you've gone back and forth, and maybe to even say like I've struggled with at times, because you do often say like I want to give to people, I want to help people, and then
And then
sometimes
you
I
go
think,
over the line, like you give a little bit more than you might have been willing to. Yeah, that's just boundaries.
yeah, you've maybe pushed yourself or
Mm.
overexerted yourself, and then as a result of that, you've felt resentful or frustrated and said, I don't like doing this, or I'm
Mm.
not enjoying this, and I'm having a bad time, or I'm stressed. And I think that's just come from giving beyond what you want to give. Like you're
Mm.
allowed to want to be a giving, generous person and also have really strong
You're allowed to
boundaries.
stop. Yeah, you're allowed to say, like, that's all I want to give today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to be very clear, when we talk about giving, a lot of people do that out of guilt.
Mm.
They'll give out of guilt. We are never saying to give out of guilt. That's not generosity. Generosity is giving for the pure love of giving and seeing the smile on the other person's face.
Yeah.
It's not giving out of like, oh, I should, the Bible, the Christian Bible says give out of charity, so I should do that, otherwise I'm bad. Or the news told me I'm a bad person if I don't donate to the, hurricane relief, so I should do that.
Yeah. And in the same vein, like, yes, you've given out a hell of a lot of free content, and we're often talking about like, how can I make sure that the content that I'm doing is giving value, is giving advice, is helping people. Even now, when we're trying to like do a push for the coaching and bring a bit more money in, because it's, can be quiet over the holiday period.
Yeah, the
You've
bank
said
account
like,
is running low because Christmas was quiet, yeah.
yeah, and you say like, all right, I want to mention the coaching more. I want to advertise in a way, but at the same time, how can I still help people? Like, how can I
Yeah.
still make sure the content is helpful while also mentioning the coaching and like be able to do? I don't want it to just be about marketing or coaching
Yeah,
pitches.
I'm not going to sit here for 30 minutes making all of you feel a fear of missing out if you don't join the coaching. I did in the past, like just like 3 years ago, I did used to do content like that, but I moved away from that because it's not putting positivity out into the world. It's just putting fear and guilt and shame. And like, that's what a lot of sales and marketing can devolve into.
Yeah, and so you are trying to help with your content, and that's the way in which you, Andy, want to give. But at the same time, I think you have a very firm boundary. For example, like the coaching isn't cheap. At this,
And it's not free. And we
yeah,
sometimes do get people saying, can you coach me for free? And it's like, no, I don't
and
want to give that. So you're still clear with your boundaries. And you're allowed to say no when someone asks you to give them something. And people will ask them all the time. The guy that emailed this morning was asking for something from us. And it's like, no, you're getting deleted. Like, I'm not interested. So, yeah, don't give more than you want to. But sometimes, like, that's a process. You won't know how much you're comfortable giving until you step over the line a little bit or get really close to the line and you go, oh, I don't feel good about this. Why don't I feel good about this? And then you explore it and you say, maybe I'll give less, or maybe I'll give in a different way, or maybe I was just tired. And when I'm tired, I don't have as much to give. That's like a pretty obvious statement, but we often forget that. And we're like, on my most tired days, I need to be as productive and as generous and as giving and as loving and as perfect as my best day. And it's like, maybe you can do that, but most of the time you can't. So give a little bit less. But yeah, this is all a process. I'm not perfect with this. I think, like we've said, I often will give more than I am willing to give. That's my thing that I'm improving at. For a lot of you, you're like, I'm scared to give anything. And so you can give yourself, if you want to, a little gentle nudge and say, okay, how can I give more? How can I be a little bit more generous?
yeah, and everyone has their own limits and boundaries and what they
100%.
do and don't want to give. And I
And
think,
it will change depending on the person. Like you might want, I find it very easy to be generous to you. I feel like I have infinite generosity with you, and you have pretty much infinite generosity to me. But then someone else, maybe I don't have infinite generosity to. Like it
yeah,
will
of
change.
course. Like
Yeah.
a very good example, if I'm going through some stuff, even if that's, every other day for the next month, like you would sit down and talk with me versus if somebody emailed every other day for the next month being like, I want help with this. Can you
Can
give
you
me
talk
free
to me for
advice?
several
You'd be
hours?
like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm good.
I
Thank
will
you.
give you essentially infinite free advice. You will give me infinite free advice because we love each other. We're in a relationship, for fuck's sake. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. So it changes depending on the person.
Yeah. And I think maybe like to circle back to the point of this video or what inspired it, like the idea that like this guy was trying to get money to like be a yeah
Businessman or whatever he was trying
to
to do. Yeah.
to get us to pay him to help him do
Yes.
marketing or
Yes.
something along those lines. I didn't actually read the email, and so he's trying to get a job basically, and maybe we could talk about what with this philosophy of giving, what might have been a more positive or more
I like that. Yeah.
not more positive, but more effective, at least when talking to us specifically, or you, Andy, specifically, what may have been more effective for him or a better approach for us to actually want to engage and want to
Yeah.
help him to actually make it like a mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
exchange.
How about I feel like it would be easiest to answer it like this. If this guy was a coaching client of mine, how would I help him be a better business person or build his business better? Because we've worked with lots of people to build businesses. What would I tell him? Like if I saw that he was doing that and he told me, hey, I spammed people and I'm just sending them generic spam clickbait titles and like a 3-minute marketing pitch with literally zero value in it, just making promises and saying, I can make you more money. I can do, but like there's no content there. What would I change? The very first thing I'd say is like, why don't you get in there and demonstrate some actual value? So either do like start a YouTube channel or something and upload a couple of videos where you give away free value, like make your free stuff better than most people's paid stuff. That's what I've aimed to do in my content. That just comes from like, well, I got that first from Good Looking Loser, but Alex Hormozy has said the same thing. So either start a YouTube channel or Instagram or like a blog or like anything. Just give away some shit for free. Or if you're reaching out to people in cold emailing, which is what this is, and cold email means you just email someone out of the blue, like cold approach. You walk up to a girl out of the blue. She doesn't know you. You don't know her. It's cold. You don't have a relationship yet. If you're going to cold email people, fucking offer them something. Do something for free. And if you don't want to do that, fine. Then a lot of people are going to read that and just be like, well, this is a bunch of spam bullshit and you'll get marked as spam and blah, blah, blah. So if someone was my coaching client, I would say, no, I'm not going to coach you to put more noise out into the fucking world. The world doesn't need more spam, especially in the age of the internet, social media, clickbait shit, and now AI. There is so much just like absolute zero value noise on the internet. I think we all know that. And so put something beautiful out into the world. So go through this person's website or whatever. You know, this guy reached out to us to try and tell us that he can sell our coaching better, right? That's what he was trying to help. Go to this guy's website, watch a bunch of his videos, and like literally do something, like literally go through a video and say, hey, Andy, you did this coaching pitch here. Here's what you said. Maybe you could have also talked about this point, and maybe here's how I would have phrased it. I recorded you a quick 2-minute video of me doing it. I'm not you, you know, just understand that I probably can't speak in the same way that you would, Andy, but like, here's my coaching pitch. Here's how I would have done it. And then I'll watch that. And if it's decent, I'd be like, yeah, this is like literally better than what I would have said. Fuck it. Yeah. Like you can, if you want to, I could pay you a little bit of money and you could jazz up my mentions of the coaching. Now, I wouldn't pay for that. I like our coaching pitches being organic. I'm not interested in like using marketing or sales on you guys and girls. But like the point is, if he's reaching out to other people, put more fucking effort in and literally demonstrate value. Because if you're someone that's just cold approaching or cold emailing, you are literally an absolute nobody to anyone that's listening. Now, if you have some sort of portfolio, that's why I'm saying make an Instagram or make a YouTube or something. You can say, here's my website. You can see my testimonials from my other clients I've worked with. Or I guess this guy just hasn't worked with anyone else. He said he has, but I don't. Where's the testimonials? So I have to assume you haven't, or you have testimonials. So get testimonials. If you have worked with people, get testimonials. Get them on a podcast with you, or get them to just write something, or show some screenshots, or show like, here's how much more money I made this client by working with me. He went from like $5,000 a month to $10,000, like some sort of demonstration of value. And you can do the same thing with dating. Like part of how you show value in dating is you improve yourself. Like you literally just dress better, hit the gym, maybe, you know, get your teeth whitened, whatever you have to do. So when you're walking up, you're like, hi, I have a little bit more value. And then you just work on talking to way more women so you get a bit more confidence. So that's more value. You can also just sit down and write a list of 50 things that you have to offer women so you're aware of your own value. You could do the same in business. And I've gotten people to do that in business. I've said, write down what you have to offer clients so that you're aware of it. And then that's what you say to them. Here's what I have to offer you. Would you like it?
Yeah. And I think maybe to add some additional context to all of this, one of the key things about giving is not expecting things in return.
100%. Yeah.
And obviously in business, that's a little bit more complex. So there's a lot more gray area because obviously you don't start a business generally for it to be a charity. Like you
Here's
do want to
what I would say. You expect that the numbers game will eventually give you something back, but not each individual person.
Yeah. And so if you are cold emailing businesses with a pitch, and maybe it is something you've put a lot of love and effort and energy into, if you expect that because I put in, you know, an hour, 2 hours into this pitch for this business, I'm owed something in return for them.
Yeah.
I think if you go in with that mindset, you're going to get very resentful and frustrated quite quickly. But like the nature of it is still that like not everybody is going to give
Yeah.
100% back of what you gave or more than that. And you almost have to understand that like there's two different approaches. Like, yes, you can put in a no effort pitch and maybe
Which is
this,
what most people do. You just put noise out into the world.
yeah. And like, it's like, it could be a fully automated process. It's like where basically you cold email 1,000 businesses with the same, or 10,000 businesses with the same generic
And
pitch.
how many of those do
And
we get in our inbox?
yeah, and maybe 1 in 10,000 pays off versus you put the time and effort and energy and maybe reach out to 10 businesses or 20 businesses and you get, one person back. And obviously it's that return that is making that difference. Like,
But people will autistically or just narrow-mindedly look at what you just said. They'll go, yeah, but then shouldn't I just put a bunch of spam out into the world where I put no effort in whatsoever because that will pay off? And it's like, yeah, but you've also just annoyed 9,999 people.
and I think the other thing to be said too, I think like the quality of that in this particular example, like the quality of that business relationship is going to be a lot better, a lot more meaningful, probably a lot more like mutually profitable, where the one where
More
both of
long-term.
you have put more effort, time, and energy, and there's more investment from both parties into that versus. I can't imagine a cold email with a shitty generic pitch and someone actually takes you up on that. Like, I
And
don't
goes,
think.
hey, I'm going to work with you for the rest of our business life and really add to your life. Thank you for this great coaching pitch. Yeah. Whereas if someone reaches out to me for free, and some people have, do you remember the guy? His name was Adriel. I paid him to be my video editor for a while and I gave him free coaching along with that because he reached out to me via cold email and said, hi, I have edited some of your videos and here's the one. And I looked at them and I was like, yo, this is fucking good. Okay. Like, how can we pay this dude? Like, I want to reciprocate because you gave me something. And he even said, I've edited these. You can upload these on your channel and use them. Like, use them, dude. And if you don't ever, like, I just wanted to do them for you. Are you interested in me doing more of this? And maybe you could pay me. If not, that's fine. Take these for free. It's like, I'm going to, at the very least, even if I didn't hire him, which I did, even if I hadn't, I would have paid him something. I would have sent him $50 and said, bro, this is fucking dope. Have $50. Thank you. Thank you for this.
Yeah. And I think part of that, like the reason that maybe part of the reason you, Andy, wanted to be generous in that particular instance was because he's not asking or demanding or expecting
giving.
anything. Yeah. And naturally, there's going to be a lot of people that respond really well to that. Like, I think I even have an example from my own personal life, like quite a few years back now when I was looking at interning for industrial design firms because I was exploring whether that was a field that I wanted to get into. I ended up getting an internship somewhere and they were like, oh, do you, basically when I went in, because I went into their office, I like cold approached firms,
You
like
just
physical
cold approach
firms
random businesses
in Melbourne.
wanting a job. Yeah.
And not a job, but like experience
Internship.
basically. And they asked like, do you want to get paid? Because they even said like when I came in on that day, they're like, we don't necessarily have the resources
Yeah, we
to
can't
pay.
give you anything.
Yeah, especially given that you're unskilled and you're like, it may actually just take us time to teach you things rather than like it's not necessarily beneficial to our business right now to pay you money. It wasn't necessarily said directly, but after a while, and I probably was there 2 8-hour days a week for 3 months. And after that point, like the design director, he was like, I want to pay you. Like
Because you've
I want to
given
give
us
you,
so much. Yeah.
yeah, I can clearly tell that you've for free put in a lot of your own time, like 2 days a week. We've not paid you anything. Like, what's a job that we can get you to do that's going to add to our business so that we can actually start giving you money? And he gave me like a few various jobs. He kind of, like he had a business partner that wanted like other like copywriting jobs done. He was like, do you want this? Like, I want to be able to help you and give back in a way. And that was the same thing. It was like, I went in there and obviously I wanted something. Like the thing that I wanted was work experience and to try being in the field. And like the money was like a nice bonus at the end. But that's what I was wanting to give, and that was definitely met. But I, again, like I put a lot of time and effort to going to each place, and this was something
You
that Andy
gave
helped me
them
with.
a lot. You gave them like...
I walked into each firm and gave them like a physical copy of my portfolio and coffees, and then I gave a
You
little
bought
pitch
them stuff.
and-
You're like, here, I have stuff to give you.
And that
I've come in
was-
here off the street giving you... I come bearing gifts of coffee and muffins. Yeah.
and yeah, I had to do that for a lot of places, and this was the only one like place that ended up taking me up on that particular offer. And even future meetings with the director, he'd said that like that was basically the only reason.
Because you gave us
Because there was
something, so of
something a
course
lot
we're
more
going to give you
proactive
a
than other
job. Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, but the whole point of that being that, like, again, everything that we're saying, like, it ends up coming back to you if you're putting in more time, effort, energy, etc.
Yeah, 100%. Like, to really underline this, we have had people donate money to us. I have had people, lots of people, pay me for one of those $200 coaching calls that I offer. And that is me offering value right there. Those are like way fucking cheaper than the coaching program. I've had people come on those calls and literally say, hey, Andy, I don't really have any questions. I don't really have any struggles or problems. I just wanted to pay you $200 to say thank you for everything you've given for free. And I'm like, dude, that's like, thank you. I'm really great. That's beautiful, man. But like, I'm still going to coach you. And some of those end up being amazing coaching sessions because there's no expectations. And I already love the guy to bits. And so I put more effort into the people that say, I don't need your coaching. I'm just giving you $200. I literally try 10 times harder with them because they've just given me $200. They're saying, thank you, here's $200. And I go, fucking hell, I'm going to coach the shit out of this guy, even though he doesn't even think he wants it. But I'm going to bust my ass. I've had like 5-hour coaching calls with people that have just paid me $200. I'm like, fuck it, man. I'm going to change this guy's life because he's given me something. And so this idea of reciprocity, you got to go first. So many people, like the guy that emailed us today, and again, nothing against him. He's like one of literally hundreds of people who've done this. They're like, Andy, I need you to reciprocate to me first. I need you to give me something. Or they think they're giving. Like he thought he was giving by doing this 3-minute video, which was a sales pitch, which is like, what's that giving me? I just watched your sales presentation. It's like when a little kid's like, watch this, and they do a dance. And then at the end of it, you're like,
You say you literally do that.
I
to
do
me.
that all the time.
You tell me to watch. You do.
I dance in front of you. I'm like, watch this. But I'm not going to lie to myself and saying I'm giving you something. Or like a little kid dancing. He's not, maybe he gives mum a smile or something. Anyway, bad example because kids are adorable when they dance. But the point is give, and then offer, or at least go into dating and business and friendships and everything like that with the mindset of like, how can I leave this person better than I found them? And how can they leave me better than they found me? Like, how can we both have a mutually beneficial experience here? And we've done tons of content on this. You can just search on our channel for like add to the lives of women that you date. We did like 3 videos, a 3-part series about how to add to the lives of women that you date, how to add to the lives of people that you get into business with. Like we've covered this to death. Yep. Search for the word value on the channel as well. Maybe let's start finishing up because like,
maybe one of the last things I'll add that's like, even if all of that is too hard, like maybe you don't trust the idea of like giving will come back to you.
Yeah.
From a purely selfish, almost pragmatic standpoint, everybody wants something in all of the interactions that they have. And if you're giving literally nothing, you're not going to get anything in return.
Yeah, people will go, fuck you. Like, why should I give you what you want when you're trying to get from me? Now, my defenses come up, especially in dating. People go into dating so defensive and with their walls up and they don't give anything and they're not vulnerable. And that's okay. Dating can be scary, so we won't judge anyone that's like that. I used to be like that. So were you. Holy shit. But when you're defensive and you're like, I'm not giving anything to anyone. Like I've had so many guys, it's not so much you in the audience, but I've seen on other forums and I've had people say it to me where they're like, why should I walk up to a woman and tell her that she's pretty? She doesn't need more ego validation. She doesn't need more attention. And I'm like, yeah, heaven forbid you ever make another human being feel good about themselves, hey? Because then they might turn around and make you feel good about yourself. But if you walk up with the mindset of like, I'm not giving her anything, she already has enough.
Yeah, you're going to get women that aren't particularly nice to you.
Or women that have low self-esteem. Or why the fuck would she turn around and give you anything? And then you say, I'm not going to give her anything, not even a compliment, because fuck her. She's already got enough compliments. Hey, woman, can you please give me sex? I'm not giving you anything, though, bitch. Like, you need to just give this to me. Why? Well, because I can't get sex, and so you have to take pity on me and give it to me. And you see that a lot with, like, guys and girls that will be like, you know, women will do it too, where they're like, you have to give me money. You got to buy me a drink. And it's like, what am I getting out of that? Well, you should just buy me a drink because that's what men do. And you're like, so I get to spend time with your winning personality? Is that what I get for my hard-earned money? Like, you're not even going to be nice to me or grateful if I buy you a drink. Why would I buy you a drink? And then you start walking off and she's like, fine, fuck you. You're probably gay anyway. And you're like, okay, well, she's off in her own little world. And so like you said, those people will end up together. The people that don't want to give, great. Let them have their very anxious, stressful, fear-filled, maybe unhappy life. But if we live in the world of generosity and giving and receiving and all of that, and receiving can take practice, as we talked about before, you get what you want. Like what you just said, like be generous for no other reason than it means you get what you want. And now we would try and encourage you to be generous because of altruistic reasons and because it's the right thing to do and because Jesus and Buddha and all those people said to be compassionate and kind. But if none of that resonates with you and you're literally just like, nah, fuck that, I just want to make money and get pussy, being nice to other people gets you that quicker. Like being generous to other people gets you that quicker. All right, we will finish up because like I said, I'm going to go see my friend who I want to give to him. He's doing it a little bit tough right now. He's going through some stress and some business stress and all of that sort of stuff. Maybe we'll finish up with a little coaching pitch. You know, we've helped a ton of guys and girls with businesses. If any of what we talked about here today resonates with you, either in dating or business, we would love to have you in the coaching program.
Yeah. And I think another point as well, like especially if like this free content has been helping you, like understanding that like, especially with our philosophy of giving, if you're paying Andy or us money for the coaching, like the desire or the incentive or the drive to give is like
I
is
bust my
tenfold beyond
fucking ass for my coaching
the
clients.
free content, obviously,
Yeah.
because it is like a premium or upgraded service that
Yeah.
like that's what you're paying for.
If
So,
this shit helped you, understand this is like Babby's first self-improvement. The stuff on this channel, what I'm saying there is this is like the crappy version of how I can help people. So if this content has helped any of you, if you've been sitting there going like, I'm thinking about joining the coaching program, like I've thought about it, maybe in the coaching program, you will get fucking 10,000 times the advice, 10,000 times the results, 10,000 times quicker. You will be 10,000 times more peaceful, happy, loving while you do it because, yeah, think about what I can do if you pay me. This is free. Like all of you listening, you're not paying me anything. Like YouTube, we make like $50 a month on YouTube, like nothing. You're not paying anything and I'm pouring my heart and soul into trying to help you. Imagine what would happen if you paid. And one of the things that we do in the coaching program is exactly like what we've talked about here today. Whatever your goals might be, we get you those goals in a way where you're completely honest and upfront. Even if you're scared, we'll help you with that. Like, don't stress. It's okay to be really terrified of being vulnerable and being honest and telling girls that you think they're pretty. All of that can be scary. But we help you do it in a way where you're completely upfront and honest. And you're not wasting anybody's time and you make a ton of money in the process if you want to start a business or you have a ton of sex if that's what you want. Whatever it is that you want, we'll get you that thing, but in a way where you're actually adding to the lives of the people that you do it with. And if for no other reason, then when you do it that way, like when you can be honest and upfront, and again, we'll help you with that if you struggle, when you can be upfront and honest with people and give value to them, you don't have that pesky little voice in the back of your head that feels guilty or feels like, oh, I'm using
yeah,
people.
is this
I'm not,
gonna like blow up or come back to
Yeah.
bite me? Like you're like,
am
no,
I being creepy? Am I wasting her time?
I
Am
can
I being
stand
bad?
by everything that I've done.
Yeah, so many of our coaching clients come to us feeling like, is casual sex bad? You know, should I feel guilty? Am I doing something wrong by wanting to have a lot of casual sex partners? Or am I doing something wrong by wanting to make a ton of money? The only reason you feel that guilt is because you're not doing it in a way, or you haven't started doing it in a way where you're adding to the lives of the people that you do it with. When you switch that mindset up and you say, I'm going to walk up to that woman over there and just try and make her smile. And I don't have to be a dancing, performing monkey, but I'm going to hit on her in a confident, honest way. I'm going to say, hey, you know, you're really pretty or you're really cute. I want to come say hey. You're trying to make her life a little bit better. You're trying to give her a good experience. And if she says, I have a boyfriend, you know, you say, beautiful. I hope you and your boyfriend have a beautiful life together. You're hoping that she will leave that conversation feeling 1% better about herself as a human being, or just smiling, or just going like, oh, that guy seemed nice. That was cool. Same with business. You're going, even if someone doesn't want to pay me money and sign up for whatever it is I'm offering, I want them to walk away from that having a good experience. And anyone who does pay me, holy shit, I want them to have a good experience. When you do it in that way, that little voice in your head that goes, is this okay for me to be doing? It just disappears. And you're like, yeah, I'm adding to the world. I'm not just putting noise out into the world and spamming people and trying to grind and hustle and get what's mine. No, I'm trying to add to the lives of everyone that I do it with. So if all of that appeals to you, and I guess I would say it like this, like you said, if any of our free content has helped you, think about what the coaching program would be like. I'm very happy to jump on a free call with you and talk through any fears you might have, any doubts, any hesitations. I will sure as fuck not use any sales techniques on you or manipulate you or any of that bullshit. I will just sit there with you and say, hey, let's talk. Like, what would you like from me? How can I help? And if at the end of that you say, no, I don't think I want the coaching program, I'll say, beautiful, man. I hope you have a beautiful life. Here's a couple of things that I can leave you with. Like, go out and do this, go try this, just keep working on this, keep improving this. I'll give you essentially a little bit of free coaching. The links to those are in the description down below. And we would love to have you in the coaching program, obviously, if that doesn't go without saying. Anything you want to add to these beautiful, wonderful, sexy, handsome, pretty, lovely, cool, interesting?
Nope. Quick,
I'm not
I'm going
finished.
to a pole class. I need to
You're
leave.
late. You're late. She's late. Go. I'm late. We love you all. Goodbye. Get the fuck out of here. We love you so much. Coaching down below. Come to the coaching program if you want to, and we'll love you. Bye.